bringing the latest technology to your home. The Swipe Report on Sky News is sponsored by Currys PC World and Canary.
You're watching Swipe. Coming up on this week's show.
The future of flight. We take a behind-the-scenes look at the jet engines of tomorrow. I'll be getting under your skin with cutting-edge holographic technology. And we face off against The Walking Dead in this week's Games Review.
Welcome to Swipe. We've come along to what's being billed as the world's first giant health event. The giant bit stands for Global Innovation and New Technology. More on that a bit later on, but first I want to tell you what Alex has been doing this week. He's been given behind-the-scenes access to where Rolls-Royce is developing the next generation of jet engines. Take a look.
The jet age. It's made the world seem smaller and trips to far-flung destinations affordable. But with rows over airport expansion, aircraft noise and emissions, demand is sky high for new innovations to make aircraft quieter and more efficient.
And it's here in the UK, at their plant in Derby, that Rolls-Royce are developing the next generation of jet engines. Some of the technology they're looking ahead to here, we won't see in the skies for another 10 or 15 years.
But already in production is the Trent XWB, what designers claim is the world's most efficient engine.
So when you look at the engine, you can see the huge fan on the front, and that pushes a lot of cold air, accelerates it around the core of the engine, where the air is compressed and heated and expanded. And that cool air being blown by the fan makes the engine quiet. So if you're on the ground and take off, or the aircraft's approaching, it makes it much quieter. The efficiency is to do with how we look after the air, how we compress it. This engine takes in a squash quart of air every second and compresses it to the size of a microwave oven. It's an incredible machine in terms of what it's doing to the air, but it's all attention to detail. And we're proud of it. It's got 38,000 parts in it, all of which have got technology involved with them and built here in Derby. And it will maintain its status as the world's most efficient engine for a number of years to come.
Building the engine is one thing. It then undergoes thousands of hours of rigorous tests to make sure it can withstand conditions in the air, whatever they might be. Looking to the future, and its new materials that could hold the key. Making the blades out of carbon fibre would allow them to be larger and lighter. Impressive as these developments are, critics warn the pace of change is lagging far behind the scale of the challenge.
We need to find a way of encouraging manufacturers to keep pace with the enormous growth in aviation. Growth that's going to see a 3- to 4-fold increase in the sector's emissions over the next few decades. We need to encourage manufacturers to think hard about how we can have more continual evolution, and equally how we can encourage airlines to purchase this technology when it becomes available.
Given the rigorous testing needed and development costs, there's unlikely to be a revolution in aircraft design for decades. Instead, little by little, tweak by tweak, progress seems to be on a slow but steady climb. Alex Morgan, Sky News.
Stay with us, still to come. I'll be going deep inside a human torso, but it's not as grim as it sounds, I promise. That's coming right up after a roundup of this week's tech news.
A new prototype supersonic airliner has been unveiled, which could take you on a transatlantic trip in just 3.5 hours. The Boom aircraft, backed by Virgin Galactic, could be seen in the skies as soon as the early 2020s. It's one of a number of plans to bring back supersonic passenger flights. A USB stick and a drop of blood, that's all you need for a new HIV test developed by scientists. The process is similar to the one here. The disposable device detects the virus and then creates an electric signal your computer or handheld device reads to get the result. The whole test can be complete within just 30 minutes. Google and Facebook have both announced plans to crack down on so-called fake news. They say they'll target advertising, so websites can't make money from phony content. Tougher rules are being considered to make broadband adverts clearer, so consumers understand the real speeds they'll receive. Currently, companies can advertise speeds that apply to only 10% of customers. Watchdogs warn this leaves most people unclear about what speed they'll actually get. And we had to mention this week's supermoon in our news roundup, mainly because we just love looking at the pictures. People all over the world shared their perspective on the largest lunar appearance in the past 69 years.
Your father was an assassin.
Stick around for our games review. We're seeking revenge in Renaissance Italy. But first,
there's a whole load of innovators and entrepreneurs here, each with their own high-tech solution for helping us improve our health. We found one exhibitor who's been using holographic technology to help train medical students. Come and meet Dr. Javid Khan.
Hello.
And you brought half a human body with you.
That's right. This is a holographic 3D image. It's human anatomy, and it's used to train medical students at the University of Edinburgh.
How has this become a tool for training?
One of the problems faced by teachers of anatomy and for the students is to understand the complexities of the internals of the human body. This includes things like the organs, the skeleton, arteries. This is very complex information, and a good way to show this is in 3 dimensions.
So what are the current methods for training students? Would it be dissection and graphics?
That's right. Currently students use dissection, which happens in later years, and they also use 2-dimensional atlases, which is just like a book. And in fact, we've made a 3-dimensional version of this atlas, which enables you to see all of the human anatomy. We've imaged everything. Holographic technology doesn't need glasses, so things appear in mid-air, and this is a real plus for this technology.
So you want those atlases to be rolled out across universities then?
That's right. We're working on this now together with a medical publisher and a couple of universities.
I bet that's going to be expensive, though. There must be some drawbacks to this technology. I bet it costs a bomb.
It used to be the case, but the latest technology is now manufacturable and replicable, so you can copy it more easily, so the prices have come down significantly.
Now time for our game slot, and this week we're running from zombies and hacking to beat state surveillance. Here's Alicia.
This little guy is one of the biggest technological advancements of the last decade, so it's no surprise that game developers are looking at it and thinking, what can we do with it in our games? In Watch Dogs 2, it's been turned into a weapon because phones not only connect people together, they also connect technologies. Now, it's an open world game, so you basically have the entire run of San Francisco itself. Gameplay-wise, it's all split up into missions. You've got your main storyline missions, but you can also go off on side quests. The game really encourages you to delve deeper into this world, but it's all based around the idea of hacking. You can hijack cars, you can parkour around the city, you can hack NPC phones to steal their money or have them arrested for crimes they didn't commit. You can also use a quadricopter for scouting, and there are loads of stealth-based options, all through the phone that you have in your hand. We've seen quite a lot of last-gen games remastered for current consoles. We've got the Bioshock remaster just came out. There's the Infinite Warfare remaster that's just launched alongside the new Call of Duty, and a Batman remaster as well. So, to top it all off, we've now got Ezio from the Assassin's Creed trilogy. Now, if you've not played this trilogy and joined Assassin's Creed later in the series, perhaps with Unity or Black Flag, I'd really encourage you to go and check this one out. Ezio is probably my favourite protagonist that Ubisoft created in this series. So you embark on this kind of quest through Renaissance Italy, and the history that they've poured into this world is insane. Some of my standout moments are hanging off the side of the Colosseum, looking out to a glorious sunset over the fields. And you actually meet as well Leonardo da Vinci, a younger version who helps you out in your quest. So if you're a history buff, if you love open world games, definitely recommend you checking them out. The Walking Dead is back on our screens, but I'm not talking about Season 7 and Rick Grimes. I'm talking about The Walking Dead: A New Frontier. This is a Telltale game, and Telltale are specialists, funnily enough, in telling tales. They do a lot of story-driven narrative games where when you make a decision, your decision completely impacts what happens later, the characters that you speak to, the alliances you forge. For the third game, they've shaken things up a bit. There's a new character called Javier. It's set 4 years after the first outbreak, and you play as him as his path crosses with Clementine. So story details are fairly scarce, but if it follows the previous Walking Dead Telltale games, you'll be going through a world that's infested with zombies. You'll encounter survivors as you go, and you're going to have to make decisions about who to trust, who not to trust, who to save, who to kill, and where to go in general. You know, every decision that you make is going to impact the story as it unfolds. So it's very much a playable TV narrative, and I personally love the Telltale games. I think that they're a really interesting example of how storytelling can be done within games. So if you're interested in that too, go check it out.
Well, that's it for this week. If you enjoyed watching this episode, don't forget you can watch any of our Swipe episodes in our YouTube playlist. Just type in Sky News Swipe. And you can stay up to date with all the latest tech stories on Sky News on mobile, tablet, catch up, Sky Q and Snapchat. We'll be back next week. Hope you can join us then. Bye-bye.
Bringing the latest technology to your home. The Swipe Report on Sky News is sponsored by Currys PC World and Canary.